Good morning to you all. Thought it was about time I put another telephone up, although this one I may have shown at a previous video, but not to worry. Now the reason I bring this up is that yesterday there's nothing on the TV except blooming football, which as far as I'm concerned is well, doesn't interest me in the slightest. So I thought I'd have a little look at my eBay and see what has been added onto the list of vintage telephones. As I suspected, nothing much had been added. But what I did notice was a phone by Pi. And I thought, I'm pretty sure I've got one of these, but it's in bits rather than the complete job. So do I go ahead and buy that one that's on eBay, or do I check to see if I've even got the bits? Anyhow, I went upstairs, and it's surprising what the old brain plays. I found a complete example of one of these, and I thought, that's good. I needn't waste more money by buying the one on eBay. So that was that story. Anyhow, it's interesting because I thought, well, let's have a little look at this and see just what it's all about. So here goes. Now, as you know, I have just done a video on the Autophone Aristocrat. Unfortunately, the induction coil, or the anti-side tone induction coil, has gone short circuit, and this seems to be common with three of them. A friend over in America has got one of these which shows the same symptoms, and I've got two of these phones which show the same symptoms. It's just a short circuit between all the windings. The only way around that is to look at if you've got a spare induction coil, one of the very small ones, and try and work it out how it goes in. But that's another story for another day. Anyhow, rather than me chatting away, I know I do like chatting away, I had a look inside this phone, and although it's based on the post office 706 type, which you would be familiar with the actual shape of the phone, the casing, and there's the inside, which is slightly different. The way it's held on is different. This is quite a good way of holding on. The two screws there and there are not to hold the case on. They hold the other part, which you can see down there. So that's got nothing to do with holding the case on. And also, what is interesting, the little buttons are round and silver coloured. So there is some differences between this telephone and the, if I can make it come out, show you it's actually what it's like. Hold on. Once I have one hand is, oh yeah. I'll show it that way round. There's the actual plungers, so they are metal plungers and totally different to what you'd expect to find on the 700 type. Anyhow, leaving the case, let's have a little look at the actual telephone itself. And this is totally different What we're looking at now is the bell arrangement, single coil, and you can adjust it. You can adjust it obviously from a low ring up to a high ring. So that is definitely different. Looks like the same bells are used, 24B, 24A, so they're the same bells. The attachment, this part is the same. Your side tone transformer is the same. The cradle is totally different. You operate the spring sets there. Rather crude, I thought, but effective. It is effective. The actual capacitor is only used on the bell circuit. It's not used for anything else, just on the bell circuit. So that's made much simpler. The connections, although they're the same numbers as you would find on the 706, they bear no resemblance whatsoever to the way a 706 is wired up. They're totally different. And as you see, it's a much simpler design. Really, all you've got is your induction coil, capacitor, bell, and that's it, which obviously does the job. These would have been, of course, used for inter-office use or on private wires, in no way connected to the normal BT or the GPO circuits. So this would be just an internal. Same use, as you'd say, as the Autophone Aristocrat. I keep mentioning that, there is a reason. Now, before I go on to something, I'm going to turn the case over and have a little look. See if I can show this up clearly. There we are. I'll leave it on there a while. That gives you the telephone number and how you adjust the bell. And when you turn it over, or turn it on the other side, you've got your circuit diagram, which is a very, very basic circuit. As you can see, 3 resistors, the induction coil obviously, the bell written in a different way as you'd normally see it. Also the dial is written differently. It's clearer actually, but I think it's clearer. You've got your capacitor there, and that's that. It also shows L1 and L2, which I've got to find out and sort out which terminals that they go on. And you've got down there E1 and E2, which is obviously used to either keep the bell wired in or to disconnect the bell. Looks like it's done with a strap, so that's something I've got to look at later. There's shown the way the contacts are. Anyhow, that's shown the diagram, circuit diagram if you like. A very basic circuit. I want to tell you what the bell impedance is. The bell impedance is 1000 ohms. 1000 ohms. As I've said before, a lot of people put extra resistors in the bell circuit. Personally, I see no reason for this whatsoever. But if you like to put that resistor in, feel free. But in my opinion, you don't need it. I just use the phones working on 2 wires, so you know that's the way I do it, and it always worked with me. Anyhow, leaving the actual phone, it's got. Let me show you the underneath side. This is a typical BT type base, or the early base, made of plastic. It's got T89 there. That's obviously a number of the phone as well. As I say, hard wired, nicely wired actually. You can see where the wires go. They say Pi were a very old firm. I think it was Pi of Cambridge at one time. And I believe they at one time were with TMC, a telephone manufacturing company, Tempco. So I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. And I believe Philips bought them out eventually. But as I say, they did supply phones, 706s, to the post office as well. Now we come on to the dial. I haven't removed the plastic cover. It's too fiddly and no need. All you have to do is to have a look at the dial used on the Autophone Aristocrat, and it's exactly the same. It's a German dial invented by Siemens Halske. That's the dial type, but this one is probably, it looks identical to the other one, so it's probably made by the Deutsche Fernsprecher Gesellschaft. And Fernsprecher, mean Fern long distance, is the old German name for telephone, which translated means far speaker. And as I said, the model is 1806 T89, and this phone has got on the dial and receiver 1964, so that gives you an idea of the age. Now also the handset is identical. It's a standard 700 type handset. The receiver is a standard rocking armature type, and it's E64/1. But having a look at the transmitter or the microphone, you've got the very long and well proven design there, which you'd find on the 332s, I believe. I think I'm right there. But this type of transmitter is quite common on many types of telephone, including the Indian 332s. So that is just it can be changed, but I'm not going to. You can put an electrostatic or the electronic type in, but as I say, this seems to prove itself, and it should be okay. I would say I haven't actually tried this phone yet, so hopefully it'll work. If not, it'll need a little bit of work. Did notice the wires in both cases are coiled up, so there's not much space to actually do anything, but we will see. That is virtually all I've got to say. I did mention those 2 screws at the back, engage on those, and it is I think a very good way of putting the case on, rather than having the screws which you would normally find. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Any questions, please ask. I will put a thumbnail on this when I reassemble it again. So once again, many thanks for watching. I've just noticed the sun's trying to come out, so I may even get a chance to get down to the greenhouse, because I'm dying to put up some videos on the plants that I've repotted in the greenhouse, but the weather's been so cold. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. Any comments please make, and yeah, I'll try and get back to you. Thanks again for everyone else that's made comments, and yeah, I think I've more or less said everything I should with this telephone. It's basically quite a cheaply made one, but it's well made. It may be cheap, keeping the price down, but it's well made and it's obviously functional for the job. Anyhow, that's all. Thanks again for watching. Thank you.